Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Dialogue with the Youths on Gunjur online platform. I am your presenter, Ebrima Janneh, commonly known as EB. Glorious Wednesday, 9th of September 2020. The time in Leeds is 7 o'clock, at 19:00 p.m. The time in the Gambia should be 18:00 p.m. and the Eastern time in America, it should be 2 o'clock there, that's 14:00 p.m. And our topic today is from the voice of youths to the power of youth in bringing developments or changes. And with me today, I have Dr. Ahmed Manjang. He's a microbiologist and environmental activist. He's also a youth activist, a towering anchor for Gunjur Online. And we are expecting also a young and dynamic Abubakar Janneh, commonly known as Kandembo, a man with well-honed talents and brain on banking and business management. He is also a technical staff and also an anchor for Gunjur Online. Mbadingolu, assalamu alaikum and mbali bismillah na program woto ning funding kella kacha. Kaminke Gunjur Online platform antela mo Ebrima Janneh o Ebrima Janneh mo jama yelong ibi lela. Wednesday bi tilobe ko kanjang wala mo araboti September karo tili kononto time on tolla jang 7 o'clock la sita jang tala wala Gambia ngamira tala la sita je America ngamira wolbe talang fulale kono salfana wato bi memin discuss la na topic oto na nyim program of memo dialogue with the youth team memin discuss la wala mu funding kelu I kango ani ila jamaa ila sia banko kan iba tala nyadile puru ifanang ila nyantu muminti ani ila nyato ta muminti banko kan and so was to no mol masakunda bulo kono ani ulula ni keba yon kotoma ni mimbijang wala be kala Dr. Ahmed Majanti atemu Dr. Roleti na dendengol fanan no tanko mo sayri mbalo mo kote pour ka woli tanka anim funding kella nyanto ani la nyato ta fanan akasai wala ba kala Gunjur Online fanan amanke luntanti je kacha jamale kebe nga dindingo soto mi yalon ko faraman santa fanan mi yalon ko fanan anyanta nala joining kan ka ko mi Abubakar Jammeh o kande mo jama yalon walla ate fanan femon filala bank do ko also business wol fanan ke karang katanya min be sambala nyamin ay wo fanan wala telo moti min ka sinni masimoto nyum platform oto anen aka program jamala ke Gunjur Online mba folon ko to may Dr. Ahmed Manjang, welcome anen kande bo fanan nata o Abubakar Jammeh. Mr. Jammeh mba fola fanay, welcome to this program. Ahmed Manjang, my brother, or Dr. Ahmed Manjang, welcome to Dialogue with the Youth program.
Yeah, thank you very much for accepting this responsibility. It's a big one, but you start well already anyway. Maybe you need to introduce yourself to Gambians. Who is Ebrima Janneh? Because one thing Gambians are not very good at is selling themselves. You know, first, as they said, charity begins at home. Who is Ebrima Janneh? You know, and generously youth, because, you know, when, you know, you leave the Gambia is more than 20 years ago. So some of the kids that were born during that time are the people you are coming to talk to. They don't know who is Ibi, you know. So it will be good you introduce yourself generously. Who is Ebrima? What do you do when you are at that stage? You know, the difficulties you encounter and how you end up where you are. I think that in itself, you know, is a good way to start the program, because some people might be right now, they are finding it tough as a youth. You know, they think there's no future for them. They might end up giving. You know, we see Dr. Cisse here the other day. At some point, he quit school because he was discouraged. But look at what we have now. So Yeah. Also, I'm honored to be here. I'm just to be here with you. But
Yes,
this is
I'm
your program.
about.
Yeah, exactly. The way you want to take it anyway. I'm just here as guest. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think that's
Yeah.
a very good observation, Ahmed. I have a story to tell, and really, ngalon ne fondin ke jama bi mini bella moy kan najang Gambia woda mo jama kata through the same situations lela ntom Ibrima Janneh leti na wulula le mo gunjurun kolleti mo fulo mu mebe wuluta gunjur len tata karambo to gunjur len tata Muslim high school le ani Ahmed Manjaw wal nga wala singonoma ni mi wang on ka wala wa for manyan na science wala data science wa anyway because it all babudu wo mo ku kendele tene role model so to ko ilatele ngotilin da ye ngotilin bar ma regret anyway kabirin be 7 years or less than 7 years na wulula fire accident soto dimba bota may bi mo jamate wo kala mutala dimba mi yalon ko malla gonjuro ray history nene bota je bawo na wululal jani na bon mom ning do mu mebe ding do labango wol banta je fa dimba nyinto na dat fanang aning akulatol tutaje ama survive no aman nasima yano kabiri wobota yendin na wululal mama mala mi mu fadem bambarenti aning merkaya mobe yelonne imam penso to nyaaw nyaabari
Very
iseto
generous. Yeah.
is a fewo fenkeno pour kan tol kontani di within their limit ye wokele butum generally life ma easy ba tol bitale tol bulwato min ne tol ke bayatale wata re dingol menta dingol min bije na uncle boy ne ni ngoda male bije wo dol menta pabil fanan ke bayate sembo band. So what has been a very, very difficult journey and intel fanang manke moti min ne kendeata sasa kabiri na didima sasa kanyo story ke puru funding ke salon ko femma nyane stop la puru ke famo develop no mata koleata nyawnya sometimes for it anin kolea kono la pura ye discipline ye mold ala lafte ke la minti ase ke woti kolea sabu nata nyimfe nang after nakoto mala observation yo because lafta ka hand funding ke lo kadimba duila ko media fo nyami ke hanyindi ke sayindi puru ise kata yalon ko dunia be mu challenges da malati ka bondi do once he give up to dorong then it abantable le o yalon so tata wala primary school nga kata nga common entrance will pass fail ninga sid nga fail so wala ne kana give up because kole ya be nyami mo ka wondoli ata school do bi jeng kata demo la le do bi jeng ata balto nga bori school but one thing man minke wala ka give up common entrance fail sinya killing sinya fula sinya saba na pass being reflectant ka kole nin daro nun give up tanu ngomba ngata secondary school wala mbuka common entrance pass give up ta man continue nu te num bi may binte futala nyindula to bi imbe dami so fonni kel ko kole ate bulu nyaawo nya moma nyanna give up la pour as far as be balori jato be kende yarewo so ngakewle nyama funga common entrance pass I was very happy in kanying Ahmed Minjajang ala uniform koto ala book koto atele ka wodi na be ala guardian kakini dima tabin kata ponto la jele to not this degrading to the guardian but you have to go through all this do be because school fees soto katama kabobundung katafo talending wolto for dobije Westfield bade be daming katafo Joshua godula to kalif dani just katakara mod ni futada school fanang dobije ni leti tay bika dai the first period here so wolbe mu kule timi yalon ko ni might be EBJB in another gunjur ikamira ko anene man tabata fanko no anene man fewo fenkan that bata continue for Ntada Gambia College, nga teacher yake woto nata jam chance, all tango to na uncle, and in the advice from people like Amo, uncle Nathan Tolmako in Fundunta Nyimpanko, Kang Birin Nata Jamfana, Ninjuko min Nata Jamba on Defe, Kolea, Warata Gambia, and Nata Jamboron ko baby easy lambulo konole. Very disappointed. Bao Birin Jita airport of Folodon Dunta Sate, Konongo Kualije. No. Jamman takela easy rende. I remember that agency so madoko mina Oracle ba local ready. yen samba wole to ndata ndol kon kata do ku kendo la je ba ndol ko teacher le middle class lo mun in the Gambia ndate boketo dinne ko sama singol ku so was sama sing ku kole adam fe fomu kambulo jin chekano laba wala fa I cannot believe how difficult that is long kabila about a water from 1 menial job to 1 menial job but han wo nga try nse ngaje ko nyin society kata nyamin toltante janti yes isina jamol se loki isina je se chance to no katambi maybe do mi min soto ne ya bar nyonte yala so because ni data jang na keba LD coming for you have to content pour live at the fringes of the high society ite kadara society la fenyo leto ana dato do wo ya long so crumb salt ko wol faye wala mo ne mol ya baye sitali tay wolon die ton ko tete continue wala because jam mol ya leti so nga try pour ka karang katung karang le se sembo dilanna wolumbe fendole rit kanga mari ko ni lafta dunia le ka londole nyini ni lafta lakira le ka dondole nyini ni lafta fule mo be fanan ne ka londole nyini so wala ya sabu manku jamal keno mol ka minke baba ke wala mo be na jana youths ol mo be fama be mo material la maleti bar nga try pour kam fam karandi akole ata baba ba kele for be futala nyin kono nga first degree on the graduate foundation degree nga also to nga undergraduate degree soto and masters finance soto and mudel la fere nyin la nga try la man successful bar pour nga muruna banko kan knowing ko wandi banko kan jedi ata nya imutu maranke damale tige is a legacy keno la banko le kan nadi ata alai dialogue with the youth wala mun na whole purpose pour fonnin keli ya lon ko ni wulu ala e wulundi damin ise baluno woto le nyanta balula no woto le ni man baluno je itele wo create hadama dingol le wo create ala ma wo create resources paid in that area
Ebi, what we normally do here, we try to be interactive with our audiences. So you start on a fire, messages are flowing in. So we try to interact with them. Could you imagine Habib Kunta never knew Koila mom fought a fire accident later, which nearly killed your
I was 6
dad,
years old.
and also Allah chat Fanantuta Wolto. He is inspired. Fatou Touré, you are doing a good job, and also I knew opportunity ka Terry reminder I will boy so they were very, very close. Janneh, they all inspired so far. So this is good. We tell our story.
Exactly. Sometimes near me right kapolo fokole abenda male no man ninga feel ko I was struggling from health issues kabirin dindima and remember I have to from Juventus court J because maybe mo jama Juventus lo nenga play Juventus football ola yes until Juventus la defense ke do bi jenga play bunju fanan town team bar sasa ya sabule nakari am progress no football o fanan ton katu sasa la wati o wati bar beri nada jam fanan last yang conseil tala beri Chinese keta ya jam me bondita je en conseil tala pour nga do ko nyini nga stay Gambia again bar butu won sasa ta je nata cancer so I have to mention this because sasa manke kuti nyanta min nola nyanta sasa fola nyoyle so that in some form prepare bao life ni be baloring sasa no lese fa bar manke no kuti and man la fika nu sasala last 3 years nga cancer soto mimu lymphomati so I was between hospitals and home for the last 3 years and ala makoi that through chemotherapies la and many things and that bone marrow transplant fananke and not a sleeping TB financial in my system nenema along ko obembala bari butu wo biring tata transplant ke afinti tan na system ko no tango to tibabo la hospital ol to bawo wonyan tan hamendila pour ngamin je tibabo la system ko no ngajara ro min discipline je hannente manke tibabo tijang pour nse wo soto no Gambia bawo ntela timo transplant timo labon la iketan badi ya dunta ni tema andu nga agency jele kallo ka pour yen jarano it was just a competition, it was an honor for them pour ye lawyer je ko the process min kan a project min kan I successful and wo fana be tol ma ko ila le ning tela la jaro roke. So I can see that they are very happy because it's a big success story because na sasali siata mbalale so much so that they give up on me at some point. Yeah, miranta fenkela non tada through different operations la thank God mbijang bari hani bi mbitakan be medications taka. So all this Ahmed nka Ming Tandi wolomu funding keli ya lonko dunia the journey ma easy isina fe ofen soto nole andung ikana give up. Ahmed mbebula la ye Ming ifana ya mu now wol kono ngaminde fo ya.
Yeah, so far, Ibrahim I mentioned something. The guy is born fighter. From 7 years, they stuck against him completely. 7 years old, primary school. I remember that our grandfather was coming from Mecca. This is supposed to be a biggest celebration. Ibo Tabiro Larek, it's also somewhere, Wanyo Ninjan, the mom don't survive it, and the last child, Mina Uncle Fat Jan, whatever Fat Jan,
Yes.
So, that's one thing. You lost your mom, you lost your last sister, your dad was badly born, but he made it. But the dad, have no other wife at that instant. Nika Adila grandfather, Mbela grandfather is one of the poorest in Gunju.
Yes.
So Ndolbega Campolto, for some reason, Benyatin Interjelele, boy Nene was like an abuda Barkling Barab, a Barinum. So we all grow together. So you can see, so Fademba, with all his meager, it's a long story. So Prugalia Lonko, you have no reason to give up. In fact, Ibila story is very, very similar to Kila Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam story. They are very similar. Akasasa, for Labonga la sasa, we become desensitized. We think him, you are made in Senegal. We call him all sort of names. With all that illness, now fit one, now trained, he's the fittest in that team. I mean, no training, don't. So, I when I start watching Premiership football, I have no doubt if EB has time, if he have health, I chance to know he can play in any top flight team. That's how good he was. School runner, he was one term career, another term miss.
Yes.
So he always catching up. So Wale Antena closing because I'm a class ahead of him. So now I miss, he's complaining science, science science. Maybe that was the reason. Because I will, cover him that Nanata I damn miss while he was ill. Na kole nyama for alhamdulillah fen command England for nata ranyoka. But this a clear finding the wo bata soto. At least every 2 other compound, there is somebody, Mia Alonko is in Europe. He's taking care of the rice, he's taking care of everything. So you have no reason. This in itself so that more reason sort of to give up in life. That's how tough it was. In fact, I'm tata fund desensitized ala sala. Kabira in South Africa so the Gambia nata murung. Now forum kono kabira fundi daje people start laughing, taking the mic. Yeah, no, this one is not a joke. He have cancer. I'm a cancer mobe olone. Even though it turned out to be one of the cancers, me along a jararo diata, wolomu lymphoma. But if his case was different, things developing. But he never gave up. You can see the steel in him. And at some point, these doctors, as you said, give up. And then man give up on him because I know the guy I'm dealing with. The only thing I can do was talking. I go and research, but he pulled through. So I see no better example for Kanaka Diamu Gambia funding Kele because we are fond of taking excuses. Both society molka give up junale, molka mol discouraging the junale. Even talking to people, but time always has the skeleton. But you know, near Niman Jivobrek always, Womu alala promise holtide. Asta inu bis salat wa sabr. Inna Allah ma sabirina. You steady fast. There is nothing more challenging that every, you know, 5 daily prayer you get up and pray. But you see, Allah said, if you persist, I find you there. That is in anything. This is just an example. Anything you want to do and you persist, you believe in self. Allah promise wala ka be taralaje. So that's this EV case is a clear example. I think you can welcome your other guest. Abubakar is in. You know,
Oh
then
yeah, yeah.
we can continue. Yeah.
Yes, Abubakar, you know, young, you know, Nkai dynamics, you know, Abubakar, well-honed banking knowledge and business management knowledge, a technical guy behind Gunjur Online, and also a very, very, very familiar face on Gunjur Online platform. Nkamin fale wolomu ngamin fale num before komba expect kan wolomu ndomati Abubakar mom ti mi yalon ko akesi ata baba bake dindingo mi yalon ko ay Qur'ano karang you know kaiti babu karang fan kente ma wolo may bi mo jama ma wolo ya no he was ani Musa. I can remember you know but manjam kunda you know they were so close you know Al Qur'an karang le ni Fabrama ni Fatumata so you know somebody mi yalon ko na dalita bake fanan na be nsi nyolom and I Qur'an karang in and out. Don't just see him like this anyway, you know. So, and as a young man, you know, Femman Filala in the banking industry, and that I have found develop also in business management or business administration and BA. And that technical know-how is above board, you know, when you're online, the wall on it. And youth sense that I say so, na kata business wal ke kunjuro la silo le fenge because ni nyanta fenglan ni ba ke baya le betumaranke ala e ka ke baya nya mi ka muri ya wala nya so ni ngala na talu ja kunjuro la silo le ke one ka jilti le mi ka dole sute but I become so emotional you know wal musilo le tin dole so jar no wal ke dami nga borol ke nyame so abla ndin kana wal na fe ni 24 pro you know, which is important. And welcome, Mr. Janneh, to dialogue with the youth. You know.
Hey, Allah Baraka Barke. I'm super grateful to be here. Ahmed is doing great with bringing stuff to Gunjur Online, but not only that provides content for Nalamoy Lalo Minuka and Jube Bari. Dunia be, ka kuol ma dulal to political la karola environment wala karola kujamaja mo Jamal Sambana and nyemu cost let me alonko it goes beyond one person if you see his platform and it defana kanyi Sambana pulka focus more on funding kelo and even starting from yourself ka example odi molako everything can be against you but ila the power of your inner will drive you to be where you want to be. Neman relent. And we'll be more example let me control mudini nya but we just nibe dindi ari bika nyina kujamala nga kujamala jemini alonko itambita alafu but I am like football okay sports o Martin Mario nyine la karamala Martin nako okay nkanyi sports kele extracurricular activities nkele bari nyanda crown fana kela mi alon ko sama binana fala nin do manda do stano. I think one more example of me uncle you don't have to tell people but the younger generation seeing that and emulating it and knowing you can be doing many things at the same time when case one is not successful the other one can work for you. People like Star Janneh, you've seen them, they became bankers after being prolific soccer players. So we'll be an example of and we made best use of those things. We all looked up to you guys and just knew that you're all going to be special. I'm sure most of you have armies of young folks that seek advice from you on a daily basis, talk to people and all that. So bringing a platform or a medium of this nature, a program to be specific that targets funding kelse for nafano nya di tara banku develop odo but banko da mabika develop no ni manfo develop na capacity nyimbe develop la le banko e develop en nga se so do banko kan na family le develop na sate le develop na community le develop and dunia e develop so that mbedu se balu nya la mi alonko Nyanta balula wala 21st century. So omukule di miyanka kumayata, and I'm proud to be part of that.
No, well, thank you so much. Jannim Bitala, some of the topics, I think for a start, new story really important. Why I have to mention this here. Ahmed, disagree with him or agree with him. I big impact on my life. Na uncle Mupoiti, Barkutu, Dobje, Be Kuruta Nyola, Dobje, Nini Mobe Nyoka, Kake advice Akapoleale. Now remember Jote Balo Munteti, and then Katu Kenya Biola Kamola Bungo Pidi. And that's very important, Ntolbe Dindi Yari, Kulopu Bumpido Leke, putting independent, putting Hanika dance minke suit on Konfamaka battery or lisang and all those things. And okay, I the Bumpidola. I remember Kandem Boila that for Umare, Gabinde Kate, the Purasem Fute for Damala, Purun Sedan, and what they Ahmed, but means you don't need a lamp of Alconga Sol, a lamp of Malamajela power, a lamp of Ghana power.
Yeah, power is a problem.
Exactly. Monominaba. Yes, I remember Alaji Sutung, Jane Mokolembalo, my Kelono, Baba Bakele, London Bevenkola, Jane Kundamba, Misela, Mavola. Anata tuju tambuloka nkombe wuli la drong boy ko nyeko nenyi mana e buti jabe wala amu ko wuli na wuli ne lo abe amu ko wuli ne lo abe wen ke lo ngan nyala pamu ke lo nga busan nga busan da fam kan so and so birim wo fanam bondita and was struggling with mathematics and physics and Ahmad was very good with those but psychologically I was in myself throughout my life because I saw my dad with fire all over him. I saw, my mom unconscious. So all these things be reflecting be psychologically, but to see all those things, from one family to the other with a grandfather, me along with Samaka Bunda Nakane, maybe be more percato di Barindimanu, Nimfatu Jane, Gio Kabundan Tolkane Samaka, because grandfather that more poor. But I'm always in Manjankunda Kamirante Bondita Waleto. I remember until Hanile Yambuka Sutuno, Ntekata Manjankunda Hani Salol, Lama Sali Walening Amo Wale. They become so close to me, and advise me. So I was looking to Amo. He was bold, he will come and tell you things me along, modo tafole or yano. So I think attending people like LD, I have to value their candid advice and their help.
I don't want to cut you short. I don't want to cut you short, Ebrima, but I mean, these are stories that people write books about. These are stories that's going to inspire generations. We don't have to bury them. People need to know about them so that they just don't see you as an end product, but they understand you had traveled a journey that was not smooth. And also appreciating people who contributed in your life and just that shapes you who you are today.
And I have to appreciate that. I also tape on battery or tombong, battery box so that I know battery tanning just for musical play so which is very good.
Once again, let me bring the commentators. I think Lapaluma is, even Jan is present. You won't believe it. Jan is Ibi's endless sickness made us sorrowful and more sympathetic. He drank a lot of drugs. Only God knows what he went through. And Lam Dabo is Ibi Tankala. I see your face once again. And Fadu Ture said you have to tell all the story, including Slao, Kombosilla, how it come about.
I'm so Ahmed. I think these are all inspirations. We just have to laugh about them and be happy and just know, Allah, you take care of but Allah, final decision or make. But these are things that should not even be hidden. People should talk about them and normalize them and give people, understand the journey that they went through. And I think these are all, inspirations for people to keep fighting. And it just doesn't even end in a family setup or personally, but it goes way down. Near Gambia JB, sometimes you can see I feel like, Ahmed, they're spending tons of hours and hours and minutes of time to spend on sensitizing people, talking to people. You can't force them to do things, but you sacrifice all that. You just have to be a person as an ambassador, you have to be a person who gives hope to people and understand, Koite, you have to play your role in this life until Nafa. But once you do that, your conscience are clear, you know, I played my part. Other people can take the baton and just move on. So I mean, you know, it's just amazing that we still continue to utilize platforms of this nature.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Janneh. And anyway, Fature mean for Slough, the same Slough. I came there. As always, I was close to Amano. I remember very another Lungamin now also more, you know, it's bolted, you know, I start Fono. I am some Indian all support. I think Keke Potumulungalam, but very fruity and all those things. I can remember that I was sang, you know, Saba, you know, a milk malum, you know, very sweet, you know, because that day it was very, very nice. But in the night, I do reading university. That, you know, and he was telling me, young is a woman can warm to get up, and then what inspires me. That I visit Reading University also, and I fall in love with the university campus. And what the struggle can change, and that I think that that was a big inspiration. And I met a lot of people there, Fature of Kerefatu na baby and struggled together. And very nata babukar wollem fu samatola ning for the suo in kata Amazon do kola and all those things. And but we had a good time, you know. Uncle Boy bije ning Amadou ning Babu ning Alex, you know, and konka full am support that time, you know. So good place, you know. So fonga nganyo yaya nganyo celebrate also. You know, and fantastic. I cannot go without mentioning my wife, you know, because I role me play in my life, especially in Sasakono, taking care of four girls while I'm away on a daily basis. Every day she comes to hospital, every day, you know, and go and pick the kids and do this and be a committee member for Kobosilla, Malafika Kipo area. So I think Amo can see something about that.
What
anyway.
I mean is you wouldn't do justice to my sister just by just mentioning. Kadi will be a special program. Only talking about Kadi, how to look after a sickly woman. So that will be a special day. We come here and talk about it. Because one thing we underestimate, women, their role in the community. You take women out of our life, we are as good as nobody.
Yes.
You know, because from our primary school. So we will come and tell the story of Kadi as well. That will be an inspiration for young ladies, you know, coming up. You know,
yes.
So we'll continue. Just you mentioned Esca, but that will be a special day part of this, you know, to be an inspiration for young girls coming up and what it takes, you know, to stay in a marriage, and also what it takes to bring kids in a multicultural society where you are a minority within a minority. And she did that very well, fantastically well. So that will be for another day.
Yeah, Amo, that's spot on. Like you guys would say it in the UK. That came across our conversation. Yeah, couldn't be behind the scene, and I think that's Amo. I think we gotta bring something like that. You just imagine many of us ning Ntolbama ka fersi waleta doku kolongoli sing nakole bong, you know, they go and cook, they pay your school, they give you lunch and all those kind of stuff. And you know, just to have someone me alonko, I would know, not in your native country, but abroad, and have to take care of all that. That's extraordinary. So absolutely, I just think that's going to be a great one to bring up.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Amo. Thank you so much, Kandembo. And roots kulo fana bijele, roots be get for Maria jele nimbansu wali. So we have to tell these stories, you know. Where you know,
Amo is brutal with my guys.
We work like nobody's business, and work pays. You know, because now I remember Nimbo, if I didn't back up when you contest Mbo Bandel, but Hanin Dara no Mandara Fenda, Nalbida Duko, so that I'll say Dali Duko la Woyalo. So, woy mintandi dunia if we did out the any bata the marriage. Niman Dali Dukola, definitely it do kelano. So one of the biggest, we will going to discuss it because Mbenyimbe discussed youths and teenage pregnancy, youths and work, youths and alcohol abuse, and we have procession of people. Many along can be invite la pour is a diamu okuola. But wo to faumal semfuno tepo lale ninga GBB. Paragamin fonyalta bindela wo kolanga na tepo diala. The moral lesson there is just unbelievable. So he will have it be easy. I take all the night battery can you get all those things, but no.
It's like telling us there is no such thing as free lunch. And if you work hard, you enjoy. He was very liberal, but also, he was also like that praying eye. We cannot go to the extreme. Why would you have to switch off the light? Just dance.
Wallahi.
So
listen, dance can no lali disturb them. Nim foko na woni ke batara wonne. But once lampo fata duraka, akato light o mala jela ko ko lampo kana fao. So solo bika ke no yalo. Yes, and definitely we almost went halfway. But near GB, the demography is one of the youngest, in the world. About nearly 15 to 30% or 35, 15 to 35 years. Funding means so there is over 60%. Rough estimate but it's over 60%. So, but near we extrapolate data from 15 years to 39 years, that will be nearly about 70% of our population. But in 70% we mobility, but in nearly 10 years' time or 20 years' time, we make 100% in future. Well, coming alpha, most of them. 60% of Gambia population is under 25. So how do you think, Ahmed, as a country, ning energy ni use la potential mba harness la nya dile ani la power ani la number ways pour ka change na fe nam pang pour ka call push to call it better for funding what is your take on that, Ahmed?
Yeah, that's a big number. It's a massive number, and other parts of the world, this is how they gauge the strength of the nation. But unfortunately, in Gambia, we cannot harness. And I think we have to go to the drawing boards. I had a long conversation with the permanent secretary of now agriculture, but formerly education. I think you remember Sisao. He was our badmate, Ebrima Sisao.
Yes, yes. I like Sisao.
Yeah, but he don't think there is anything wrong with our education. But I think Gambia is not only about book education, but I think Gambia youths, they need to be teach about patriotism. People need to be taught to love country first than anything. If we all love like Gambia, tribe will become insignificant. You see now these emotional things that we have emotional attachment to, like the region you come from, the language you speak, and all that. People are more attached to that, and politicians tap into this and divide us, even if they don't have to try. Like Gambia now politics, you don't have to come and present an agenda for people to believe you. All you need is your surname and where you come from. That have to change. So in that way, they're exploiting the youths. And you see kids coming, from university, they still think somebody have to lead them. That is wrong. Leadership start, I can say, at nursery school. People, you have to teach people how to lead, how to take responsibility of their actions. You listen to the conversation in the Gambia, it's all about the president, how bad it is. The buck stop with the president, but it starts with us as individuals. What do you do yourself? This is what we need to teach our children from family level, school level. What can you do? Your point. I've seen politicians like the council, lambasting the president, but himself, what is he doing in his capacity? The government start with him. Then you have our representative. Where are they when we need them most during this pandemic? They are on holiday. The president is not talking to the nations. But where are the oppositions? So this is where I think the youth should step forward and take that responsibility. Nobody should dictate to them. Why do we youths have to go into this youth wing of political parties or youth movements. You know, you see university graduates, being this youth movement for somebody who could hardly read or who can even hardly articulate themselves. So how we tap into the youth, how we can make them useful, is to make them patriotic. If it, the patriotism cannot be underestimated. And this is where Senegal is excelling very well. Do you think if Ekon is a Gambian, he will be in Gambia doing what he's doing right now?
No, 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 no.
No, I don't think so, because it's clear where the Gambia intellectuals, once they got their plum jobs, they don't want to get their hands dirty. They are good at what, if they have their nice houses, and so they, you wouldn't believe, I'll go to Gunjur, people will advise me. They think they are advising me. Why you go, just go and enjoy whatever you have, and you cannot change these people. They are like that. They think they are
No.
advising me that I'm wasting my time. Why should I get into even this argument with people just to make so? So this is wrong. This is a wrong mindset that we need to go back to school, teach our kids to love the country. If we love our country, we see nothing for us but our country. Tribe will die, region will die. We will all have a common interest. That's what we should, how we can take our country forward.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you, Ahmed. Thank you so much. That's so emotional and clear, really. Mr. Jammeh, and
Yeah.
do you think then the youths understand the importance of exercising their opinion, or how powerful they are in the country? Do you think they understand it?
I don't think so. I don't think even not the youth, but the country, majority of the country, I don't think they have an understanding and conviction. Sometimes you can understand something, but you're not convinced. Like Ahmad knows, like he just mentioned, if you're talking about environment and you're debating people just to come to a common ground to say, okay, this is what is right, this is what we should stand for. They'll know, okay, we don't want environmental destruction, but they're not convicted to feel that they have the power to change. Once you feel you're powerless, someone
Mm.
will snatch your power and use it against you. And there is not technology is there now. There is nothing to fear about. If you're doing something that is right and injustice meets you on your way, tackle it. People will raise and fight for you, and this is gonna salvage us. I really don't think people understand very much, but they're not convict. They're not. They don't really strongly believe that they can make change, and that's a wrong mindset. One thing he mentioned here, I'm just going to mention three things that I think are very, very critical to engaging and having an employable youthful age, but also they can be meaningful. He mentioned about literacy, civic education from our schools. You go to many countries from kindergarten, you just have to stand for national anthem. You have to learn how to sing that and pledge allegiance to the flag and all that. If you look at that, yes, people might be critical of those things, but from their a young age, it nurtures the spirit of patriotism in you as a human being. That what tells you that I'm not, in support of one X, Y, and Z for their personal gain, but for the country. And that helps to build that level of courage and zeal in you to say, I'm going to go and serve my country. That is one thing that we are lacking. How many comedies have we watched that people on the street and they ask you about the national anthem? While recently, anybody who's been born 20, 22 years ago only knew Yaya Jammeh. And these are
Yes.
adults now that are roaming our streets. These are folks that are coming out of our high schools. And they just don't know that much. And that was diluted and it was all intoxicated in a way that people are not informed. So, one, obviously, civic education really, really matters. Sense of belonging to country. So, we know that this is what we owe to our country. People fought for it, for the independence and all that. It's just still sad. I keep repeating that. After 55 years, we're still where we are today. We're still saying that, okay, you should not pollute our water. We're still talking about Nawek. We're still talking about water supply. the energy which could have been sifted into more strategic discussions to bring about better healthcare, education, and other things. I think second thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to or they don't really promote it, which I was just thinking about not long ago, is how we have to engage our youth to be working while they're going to school. You don't have to wait to graduate from high school to learn a skill or to start working part-time. You can be working and even take care of your lunch, as we always call it, right? You can take care of certain things. This is absent in the Gambia. You go across the world, people started working from junior high school, senior high school. They're working in Walmarts, they're working in Costco's, they're working in stores. Like these are folks that are studying computer science, they want to be doctors and all that. But at that age, they want to be responsible. Just imagine you go to school in the Gambia from 8 a.m., you close at 2 p.m. From 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. or 12 midnight, how many hours of valuable time's been wasted? Don't get me wrong, me and Ahmed talk about attire a lot and Nana and all those stuff. I drink it like constantly. But what I'm saying is, you'll see folks from school, they just sit there from 2 p.m., drink attire. It's lunchtime, they come and call you. You go and eat, go back to the bandato. Dinner time, Saliwato, see that you go and pray and all that. Yes, go and pray and do whatever. But can you imagine how many hours being wasted on a daily basis? And we always feel like work is not for people going to school. And I know this might get some pushbacks, but I'm strongly a strong believer on that. And you've seen all the developed countries, people that are even more productive than us, they go to school from there, they go and do their 2, 3, 4, 5 hours part-time job. If you don't get anyone to employ, don't wait to graduate to be employed. Go and learn skills, be productive, do things that's going to develop you, would give you some income, give you a decent stuff. So because I really don't know what our Department of Youth and Sport or whatever, other than promoting soccer and all that. I don't know what they do. They have no strategy, no nothing. I don't know of any known one. But I think those are one of the things that people can be engaged in as a matter of self-dignity, rather than just sitting there. You want to wear the best shoes, the nicest iPhone that comes out, and asking people for it, and you don't have no income coming, right? You have no income. How are you going to sustain that? With that mindset, you graduate from high school. How many thousands of folks that have been graduating from University of the Gambia? I was privileged to work for the biggest one of the biggest banks in the Gambia, and you've seen the number of applications coming through every day and night. Like people that already got a degree and they just roaming the streets and stuff. Imagine if you started learning a skill for 4, 5 years in your during the time you're going to school, that you have already shifted your lifestyle. So I think that's something that we should really try to see how to refocus our engagements, our conversations with the youth to also pick up jobs. They can be proud to say, hey, when I close from school, I have a part-time job. I'm going to this store to sell gas, Isanseroto, and all those kind of stuff, and work for them for 4 hours, 3 hours. Just imagine how that's going to change our economic landscape.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Janneh, and my uncle also. But let me also say this, because they can do me for alamuta, cleaning the kelajang, ndolka care le kejang, because jamman ken na bankoti, hanne mu degree le soto do bije, new society man need, hanne need fana. Priority is going to give it kadi ila banku dingo lela ni eteje amuta ni to ya don ne hane kaito so teje man ke jandenti moreover the mali nyolong. So why do you have to wait until in at Europe? What ole ko be sila fito kela nem kolon singo be jandol be nyaawuro kela jande. I'm telling you nem darnu nyaawuro be jamba kela le menten katolin kam musun ka mbika so minna ya mbe wolle kela jam. So in practical academic education, among enough, you need to have a practical, technical skills, soft skills. The employers say, well, need more work, land BJ. Why do you have to sell your land? Exchange ni motor. Wallan 50 by 50 nimelo as a balloon for the rest of your life. Reading only are inheritable. You know, nimelo ni la vida from Nimbade ko from Mansoto because you know there was a time they didn't hear in Fabakarin in Saliwato radical or mati. It will just stand up for you know, Bade ko Mansoto a space will create. But you know, be a jibe. Bade ko Mansoto, space is all Mansoto. You never know. Extremely malum for Lumes in a Vamavang Bade Dula Jola, Mamaring. You never know. Love is all going. You know, just like that, Mantara Fen reserve kang, Mansala Fen preserve kang. You know, but Ahmed, I'm going to come back to that, you know, because funding kill need a united, you know, a collective voice. Put a coherent message to the praise of our leadership. Work a for ni lot of dorong, all leadership. Ni a long ko, ika policies all ni mini fang dada. It all from Manta will enjoy like people are 70 years, all live in the parliament, all the president will you know, for in 20 years' time, they will be useless, you know. You know, don't let it take care. Why do they have to come here and infiltrate? Because it's still like the power. When you come together, your power will be, you will have to maximize your power. Pour ye bondi je youths la decision making in la talents ye okay. Niaje can infiltrate politically. Ila agenda buka push. You funding kill ni musola agenda nene buka. Wall man matter. Wall kachani ka wall consign to the bottom of you know ila thinking. Why can't you no ko sembo bentolle bulo kono untolle mu bankoliti untolle ka futu untolle ka nyike bali fango sam mina ne nyanta nala yenta yen divide only on politics don't atolla soma muminti in terms of ila on employment ya jibe kanda unemployment rate is staggering, it's unbelievable, but still you know. So Ahmed, you know, nyanta mine for the funding keli pour yela interest long ko sembo banko sembo be tolle bulo kono itolle nyanta agenda post la nim president min nata wala leader min nata wala political party min nata ila organisation na agenda mumindi for youth ni ma fulfill you know inale mon contract ke mi ya lonko is binding, then you don't support them, you will draw your support out from them. You know, Ahmed, what is your take there? You know, one time
I'll bring the commentators. For one of the commentators, Sexidia Jata is in the US. He said the politicians are tapping the mindset of the youths, turn them into political machines when the youth should be the lead forces to take reign of powers. I think that answers your question very well. Yes. Zainab Fall suggested civic education, you know, should be introduced at schools. You know, then Auntie Manka, who spent all her life working with the youth thing, I used to be frustrated when I'm in the Gambia. Lots of time wasted for doing nothing. You know, and Auntie Manka also went on to say, people dream that some miracle is going to happen and change their life. You can't have almost nobody for cleaning that for you to pay. You know, Ibi, I think what happened in the Gambia, we cannot entirely blame the youths. As you said, when we are youths, even we have party all the time. We will party 2-3 days in a row and we end up at the beach. But we work for it. We go plow people's farms, we do weedings and everything. We go and backfill people's new houses. Any kind of job they will offer, we go and do it. And Farmer, as you said, he can give his tape to us, but we have to pay for it. Yes. And also, if you don't come for those, if you miss for one reason or another, like if we don't give you chance. You have to pay in cash. We agree on certain amount. If you don't come for any of these works, you know, you pay. That's how we learn responsibility. And I think that's what saved my generation and Evie in Europe. When we went to Europe, we know that, you know, we are already responsible enough anyway. And we know if we don't try, we are going back to that life. But now kids will grow their entire life. There is nobody who is telling them, that's how they grow. So this is where we have to come in. And this is what this program is all about. Telling them stories that nothing comes from sky. You go to this Abubakar mentioned, people don't work. You go to Europe, you go to some of the warehouses, you work with the CEO, the owner of the company, on the floor.
On the shop floor,
in fact, one day I was in this factory, you know, stacking boxes. But this boy, we used to work together, but he's always almost when somebody come, they like fight. I say, but what's going on? He says, my father. I say, no way. So you mean this company belongs to your father? I say, yes. That guy, we used to be dirty. We used to stack board the whole day.
Yes.
The father is a multi-millionaire, but they are teaching the boy to be responsible, so that when it's time for him to take over, he's not irresponsible. This is what is missing. And that's why people are forcing, even when they pass through all that difficulty to go to the back way, when they arrive in Europe, they cannot do anything for themselves because they are not responsible enough. And this have to be educated. It have to, something have to change. Like in Combo, we are the most affected. Still, well, everybody come to Combo anyway. The kids will run from their families and come to Combo. So, but Combo don't even have farmlands.
No.
They are running out. And Ibi mentioned something very, very important. If you are a native of Combo, it's still not too late. Get yourself somewhere, 20 by 20, 15 by 50. Sponsor your kids, your sisters, sons, and daughters. Tell them, you know what, I'll sponsor you, go and farm. When they have something, let them use it. I think eventually when they start earning from those land, they will value the importance of education. And when they have the opportunity to go to the West, they will take maximum chance, the maximum responsibility. So this might take, unfortunately, I talk too much. I take all your time, but this is a massive focus. Is going to be continue, and any program once you start, you don't even know. But the more you go, you build. You know how you go about it. But we will bring the real youths who are affected. But Gambian youths need help. They have been failed by the politicians. But also the Gambia academies. It's about time we come back and return something back to the community. That's to engage these youths. It's not only the government that should provide employment opportunities. This is about Gambia. We have how many, icons from the Gambia? Where are they? Let them come back.
But they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, Ahmed, I don't want to cut you short. I need to get back to work. But I mean, just to buttress on what you just mentioned, I was in Nigeria sometime 2016 for like 3 weeks. And I was shocked when I attended one of the Gambian meetings that was a monthly meeting, the amount of Gambians that were there that lives in the Gambia, who are like at the top of the top UN agencies controlling and all those kind of stuff. I mean, it's just high time that people get engaged using mediums like this and think like what Ahmed is talking about, get something going on back home and then engage people. That's how we're going to change things. The government, like you mentioned, cannot do it all. Obviously, they have failed us. We will not stop to engage them, but it's just time to actually pave our own path to be successful. I've been to Ghana. Some of these stuffs are just in Gambia, right? I've been to Ghana sometimes, many years ago, and I was shocked. My mindset changed completely when I go back to the Gambia, because these are folks that doesn't even cook at home, right? Before you mentioned during your time, sometimes Niman Kontong Ekafuele Wulokono, right? Things have changed. You have to commercialize those things. We're not saying you gotta do what they've been doing before, because obviously that's not gonna give you adequate revenue for your livelihood. But you have to modernize it. You have to be able to shift the attention to a more productive one that even anybody who graduated from university is proud of calling that as a career or a job. And I've seen people in other African countries how they don't even cook at home, right? People might think that is gross. You don't want people to cook at home. No, it's not that. It's for the fact that only one person is working, providing everything, or your dad, your mom, or your oldest brother or sister, and everybody just go there and eat at the same time, and it's available. Other than that, everyone is just wasting so much time. There should be a cultural shift, I think, as well, that needs to happen in the Gambia. Places like Ghana, most of them don't cook at home except only weekends, right? If you are outside there, you are working, obviously you don't have time to have lunch at home, right? And you're gonna buy food from vendors. Those vendors gonna have something to sell to you and create employment for them and feed their families. So the economy is just like a chain that whatever you lose is someone's gain as your earning is someone's loss. So things we have to look at it that way to be able to have everyone in GHT. The government just didn't do it for us. The government, the only thing they can do is just to create the environment. If that environment is there, we're going to be on their neck to make sure that the environment, the right one, is there. And I think we can always expand on these conversations
Yes.
as we going forward. And I'm absolutely grateful to be part of this. And thanks so much for hosting us. And I think I will just take a leave from here because I need to, my break is over, so I'll probably have to
Yes,
get back to work.
oh, thank you. Thank you for that valuable contribution, Mr. Janneh. I think we exhausted the 1 hour. It went so quick, when you have experienced people like Ahmed and yourself. I think Mr. Janneh can even give us 3 hours and we will not be able to exhaust the
Absolutely.
things anyway. Mr. Manjang, doctor, one thing that I'm just going to say before you go so that you can quickly comment on that is, age authority doesn't guarantee anybody, and to just naturally be on the table of decision making. I think anytime you disagree with people who are older than you, my grandfathers and all those things, and on things that they don't know, people think you disrespect them. Our people jump to the conclusion easily and level people, you disrespect our elders and all those things. But for example, my grandfather didn't go to school. He cannot even write his own name. When a company like contemporarily Gunjur, we have companies like Chinese companies coming, or not any company that is coming, and they have to sign a contract with Gunjur. Do you think my grandfather, father, by he is alive, because of his age, by virtue of his age, he should be the one who should negotiate that contract. He don't know anything, because if he sign in 10 years' time, he's going to die, because everybody's wish is you live and your kids survive. And I think youths need to be bold enough. Things. Our elders, they took us to school. We are educated, we are exposed. I'm more exposed than my grandfather, if she is, even my father. I'm more educated than my father. He cannot make such decisions on my behalf just because of his age. I think you should know that, Ahmed, and demand his changes and not be scared to be labeled. You don't respect your elders and all those things when it comes to things like this. What is your take on that? And after that, we can wrap these things up. It's over 1 hour now.
Yeah, this will be my. In fact, we have a practical example of that, and still the entire community is suffering from it. When Golden Lead come, these come at a time when the VDCs are designed as an extension of the government.
Yes.
So they are mainly will take people who, actually are, just a puppet for the government. So they, in collaboration with the elders, could you imagine an important investment like Golden Lead? They went on a verbal agreement. We're going to build this, but we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. Nothing was written. And that was it. Our parents, they send us to school so we can go and do better than them. We can make better decisions, and they accept. They were so changed. If they knew better, they will do better, and they want us to be bigger leaders. So there's absolutely nothing wrong to take that leadership. Go and tell them, you know what, you send us to school so we can understand things and make better decisions. So it's about time we engage them. But what politicians are very good at doing, making that barrier between the youths and them and the elders. And you wouldn't believe the Chinese understand this. They are paying people in Gunjur community like Golden Lead, somebody up to 50,000 per month, so he can be a barrier between them because of his influence and the youth. So this is how urgent it is for youth to organize themselves and speak one language, and engage the elders. Please, take your back to, we, of course, any society need the experience because they've seen the youth. Let them be that advisor at the back, but let the youth come forward and take our responsibility. And from now on, let the youth not accept any political to impose people on them. If political parties say, okay, this is what we say because he's been at us, but you know that this guy definitely doesn't have the interest of the community. Demand, for them to change it. If they don't, who have, the monopoly, it's about time you come and say, okay, this is what we want. If you don't want, we are going this way. Youths have to do that. We cannot continue to be in the youth group or the youth movements only to help people who are coming to torment us. You look at Gambia today, no employment. We know just the amount of money these coalition government receive just for people who are being returned back to the Gambia. You go and look at those people, they are back to zero. If they have the opportunity, they will go back and sit in the camp. Nobody, because everybody is for themselves in that country. So it's about the youth to take the leadership, being level with all kind of levels, but we have to take the leadership. I'm talking as if I'm a youth. I'm not a youth anymore. So, but we the older youth also have to go and help these people. This is what it takes. You hear the story of Ibi. If you are here from the word go, he have a lot of excuse to give of one life, but he refused. And here is the final product. And me talking here, I'm not from, we are all the same level anyway at that time. Everybody go to farm and mothers all go to the garden. So the difference is not very much, very much different. The only difference I have, I still have my both parents. Ibi lost his parent very early. One of the most important part, that's the mom component. He lost it very early. But he is also lucky to have a grandparents who might be more than, this thing. They don't have the money or the scar, but they so love more than, probably the parents. So, I talk to, these are going to be continuous conversation. We need to engage the youths. We have to stop being water carriers, for people. We probably are better than them, in terms of decision making and all that. So that's my final text. We are eight minutes behind schedule, but it's almost to do these things. And also,
thank you so much, Dr. Manjang.
We have to repeat that because you don't. The introduction took almost everything. So probably next week we will continue with.
We will do the we will come over again and maybe invite other people. Thank you so much, Dr. Manjang. Thank you so much, Mr. Versatile young man, Mr. Janneh. And the last word that we will say, that's from Kofi Annan. He said, a society that cuts itself off from its youth stops its lifeline. That society is condemned to bleed to death. So as far as, we don't stop and we don't empower our youth and encourage our youth to come together, because the politicians have failed us, the elders are failing us, corruption has taken place in our society. Youths are the leaders of the compounds now, because youths up to 39 years, you can call them 35, 39 years youth. So let's stand up, let's come together and demand changes and demand to be at the decision-making table and effect change in that country. If not, the decision that people are making on our behalf that are 70, 60, 50 years are not going to leave. To have the bond of that decision is going to affect us, positive or negative. Once again, Mr. Manjang, thank you so much. Once again, viewers, until next week. Allah baraka baba. Thank you, Mr.
Gunjur TV online viewers, thank you once again. You've been immense, especially the commentators. Kevin Tijan Toure, thank you, Mama Kari and Zainab. Ebrima Janneh is saying hello. I know the lady of the house also got in sometimes. My father, Joe Sanyang, Banding, thank you all very much. Parliament, yes. In fact, we start with Mandinka, but my program personally, deliberately, I speak in English because the group I'm targeting, majority of them understand English. And if you go to the policy makers, they also understand English. So the uneducated elders, I write them off. Our target supposed to be the youth. They should understand you are the present and the future. So it's about time we take our rightful position. If not, we are going in a circle. We are not going anywhere. Thank you all once again. Buba Star also, just come in. We're going to bring you in. You tell us what is your problem right now, because we experience ours. and we rode through it, and we explained, well, what is your problem? We need to hear from the horseback. So as this program come, we're going to pick you from, you know, from the community, and you come and tell us your genuine story.
I think I have to mention the Youths boys, Gunjur Beach Youths boys. They are doing fantastic, and I will invite them, you know, so that they can tell us the good jobs that they are doing at the beach, you know, the Pakarim, the Bunama Jatas, and all those things, you know. So once again, I cannot finish this program, you know, without highlighting the good job that they are doing in the beach, because I'm aware of it. Along the way, I will invite one or two of them, so that and I have procession of women that are going to talk about, you know, women issue, you know, because, you know, the youths, the women side, I cannot say much about that, you know, but our sisters and our mothers and all those things are going to come to talk about teenage pregnancies, to talk about how we disadvantage our women and all those things. Once again, Ahmed, I'm so indebted, and thank you so much. Greetings to my brother Janneh and everybody, Sister Mama Kadi, Zainab, and everybody listening. Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you. Allah Baraka. Thank you.